3. There was 4 of us kids within 5 years. So my mom had to raise 4 kids by herself.
My mom was a single mother.
So she raised both of us completely by herself, which is...
I'm sorry.
Their acting skills are
I
terrible.
don't know how she raised 3 boys on her own with such grace.
I've definitely seen her try to juggle both mom, dad, and everything else that she had to be for herself.
She did all of it, and she did it all as though she was 2 people.
But she was tough, huh? She was not a joke.
Say our car broke down. Oh, well, that's the alternator.
She was like, when you punch, she's like, you put your knuckle out and you just go for it. I mean, I don't even know if that's a thing.
Even like opposite of her toughness, it was something very fragile, you know?
Anything that needs help, a person, a thing, an animal, she will find it and she will nurse it back to health. That's my mom.
Always very affectionate, very hugging and kissing and all of that. It was always nothing but love.
She really is like the most amazing mother, but she was really an incredible father. Like, truly incredible.
Mom, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm thankful for everything you've done for me. Happy Father's Day, Mom.
God almighty, is this
Mamá,
stupid?
feliz día del padre.
Hi, Mom. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Mama.
Happy Father's Day, Mom.
Oh, Mom. Happy Father's Day.
How apropos is it that this company, AngelSoft, that makes toilet paper, which basically means that this company, which is woke, is trying to go broke by basically hiring toxic feminists to attack toxic masculinity, to attack men on Father's Day, by basically saying single parenthood mothers need to attack. That's exactly what they're doing, folks. Don't get this wrong. That's exactly what this commercial is doing. And it is full of what? Crapola. I mean, how apropos is it that they're using toilet paper in which we wipe our arses with bowel movements? That's all verbal diarrhea, folks. That was verbal diarrhea of basically attacking fathers on Father's Day by telling mothers, Happy Father's Day. So Happy Mother's Day isn't enough. They need to crowd into the Father's Day space. That's what these elite, woke, social justice warriors, they have polished their halos. They were nothing but acting. Those were fake crocodile tears that they were doing. I don't know if these were real people, but they certainly look like actors to me. I mean, obviously real people, but they certainly look like actors to me. And what was that one guy? Oh, my mother told me to put my knuckle out like that to punch. I don't even know if that was a real thing. That's right. This whole thing that you guys were doing was so absolutely fake. It was unbelievable. But that's what the narrative is, folks. That's what the narrative is. Let's attack Father's Day and let's push mothers into the Father's Day spaces. This company, AngelSoft, when you go woke, oh my goodness, their arses are going to go broke. Let's continue, folks.
Hello, my name is Ashita. I'm a big girl.
Hi, I'm Puneet. I love playing cricket.
My name is Simrita. I want to become a fashion designer.
Hi, I'm Akash. I live with my dad. I paint a lot.
My dad was actually the first one who saw this potential in me. My dad is very good with the off-spin.
Dad says, paint. Don't worry if your clothes get dirty.
cricket is my passion. Plus, cricket is also very popular with the girls.
Dad works till late, but dinner is always home cooked.
You know my dad is my fashion guru. We shop till we drop.
The other day I was trying to shave my beard for the first time. Disaster.
My dad has the best heels. Because my mostly wears heels only.
My dad walked in and said, relax. I've been shaving my legs for over a decade now. I can show you how to shave your beard.
Sometimes I don't mind if I have to stay with grandma and dad goes for shopping with girls. It's okay. Every month, Dada goes to the beauty parlor.
You want to meet my dad?
You want to meet my dad?
You wanna meet my dad?
You want to meet my
Sure.
dad?
Let's meet your dad.
See? My dad taught me how to shave.
Unbelievable.
See, I told you my dad loves shopping.
Unbelievable.
My dad wears heels.
Dada loves going to the beauty parlor. Huh?
Happy Father's Day, Mom.
Happy Father's Day, Mom.
Happy Father's Day, Mama.
Okay. I can't believe that they actually got people from India to do a commercial to go woke, to virtue signal, to polish their halos to become woke social justice warriors. Now, I can do this, okay? I cannot believe that they actually got people from India. They got children from India and actors from India to do a Father's Day commercial. But instead of doing Father's Day, they decided to go woke and then continue to do Mother's Day in lieu of Father's Day. They actually put Mother's Day, they crossed out Father's Day and supplanted Mother's Day into the Father's Day space. This is what they did in India. Hiring children actors from India and adult actors who are Indian. This is what they did to go woke across the globe in India. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. I mean, is it just amazing that they did this? Just truly unbelievable. Wokeness goes around the globe, folks. Social justice warriors in every space on this planet. They're with us from now on. All we can hope for is that whenever these people go woke, whatever it is they're trying to promote, hopefully will go broke. Anyways, let's continue.
Stephanie Piccone with that report, but let's turn now to the push to rename Father's Day Special Persons Day.
Oh my
so
God.
children without a dad aren't offended. A growing number of politically correct schools and kindies are embracing the name change, but they're copping a lot of criticism for it. Now,
They should.
earlier I spoke with Dr. Red Ruby Scarlett, a university academic and convener of the Social Justice in Early Childhood activist group.
Red Ruby,
Well, Red, firstly, thank you very much for your time.
take a look at this
What is
person.
the argument for having Special Persons Day rather than Father's Day?
Thank you for having me as well. If we think about children's rights and how they get to participate in a community and feel a sense of belonging, sometimes shifting the language around those emotive and important days can be significant and more inclusive than the current way that we describe them.
So is it essentially, though, for children who don't have a dad for whatever reason?
Yes, but also there are children who have a dad who also have a grandfather and also have an auntie and also have other kinds of relatives. There are also a huge range of different family structures. So we have single parent families, satellite families, extended families, lesbian and gay families.
What feedback are you getting from parents and teachers who have introduced these Special Persons Days?
that they're
There's a range of
retarded.
different communities across Australia, and I've actually been talking with them over the last couple of days since this has been in the media. And essentially, what happens in early childhood is they work very closely with their communities and they negotiate these kinds of emotive and special family events with the families who are attending the centre. So there's quite a lot of input, and I think the conversation or the argument, as you'd said from the get-go, maybe isn't so much about the educators and the families. I'm wondering whether it's people who care about children and worry that they won't have these significant family days and celebrations in their educational settings, but perhaps they don't quite know the context of what's happening in those particular communities.
But there has been a backlash.
There has been a backlash, but the backlash hasn't necessarily come from families in those communities. It's people outside those particular contexts.
Your activist group is social justice in early childhood. Why is social justice important for little kids?
There's a lot of Australian research that has actually informed a lot of international research, teacher research, for example, that has demonstrated children's capacity to be really inclusive once they know about these ideas and they think, wow, why are people seeing this as a controversy? Why are we calling this political correctness when in fact it's about our right?
Well, that's because it's you teachers that are doing this, and you activists, and you social justice warriors, and those of you that are woke, and those that are polishing your halos. That's the problem that's occurring, folks. That's the problem.
People will be wondering, I am anyway, is Red Ruby Scarlett your real name?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Dr. Scarlett, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
A couple of months ago, we introduced you to Dr. Warren Farrell, who says America is in the throes of a boy crisis. And as we reach Father's Day, it's worth revisiting the issue, especially since Dr. Farrell is here in the flesh in D.C., and he's up late with me on the Final Five. Last time I saw you was through the big monitor, and now I get you here in person.
You're much better in person.
I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take that. No, let's talk about this. Father's Day's upon us. You've been making the rounds. You've been going around the country. First of all, let's tell people. You said America's in a boy crisis, and I think for people who didn't see you last time, what is a boy crisis?
Boys are doing worse in every single academic area, not only in the United States, but all over the developed world. They're doing worse in terms of emotional intelligence, worse in terms of committing suicide, going into depression. It used to be depression was a girl's thing. Now it's more with boys. They are doing much worse in terms of physical health. They're living, they're having trouble with sperm counts. Their IQs are going down. It is in 70 different areas. Boys are having problems, but it's mostly boys that do not have significant amount of father involvement.
There are people who look at a lot of the situations you mentioned and say this is a matter of political correctness, that boys are being softened these days, but it's more than that. It is more than that.
Boys have opportunities today that they've never had throughout history. Historically speaking, boys had to prepare for war. They had to be prepared for being a sole breadwinner. Today, they have more opportunities, more flexibility. But if they don't have any guidance by the culture as to what to be, they have a purpose void. And then if they have a purpose void and a dad void, they have nowhere to go. They become rudderless. Dads are very good at enforcing boundaries, which creates postponed gratification, which helps boys achieve. Without that and without a role model, a very high percentage of boys fall significantly behind.
I'm lucky to have had my father with me for every step of my life. I still do to this day. I know a lot of people who didn't. They turn out just fine. But that said, when you look at the grand scheme of things, and you mentioned the word role model.
Yes.
What makes a good role model? Is there a good role model in lieu of a father figure?
Well, first of all, a good role model is a biological dad, because the biological the boy, as he's growing up, starts wondering who he is. And as he searches for identity, he's half his dad and half his mom. And if he hears bad things about his dad or that type of thing, he starts worrying, am I bad like that? Am I narcissistic? Am I a liar? Or that type of thing. Now, if you can't have a father as a role model biologically, Get your son or son involved with the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts. Get them involved with a faith-based community. Make sure you choose your faith-based leader very carefully, and that he encourages boys of your son's age to talk with each other. Boys who are in trouble are boys who keep their feelings to themselves and repress who they are.
You've been making the rounds, going around the country and talking to local leaders. I know that's one of the reasons you're here in D.C.
Yes.
Before we go, what are you doing? What's the conversation that you think that you have to have and that communities have to have with elected leaders, with other pillars of the community?
First, they need to understand that there is a boy crisis, and that boy crisis is all over the world. And that when boys are in crisis mode, when they don't have a lot of father involvement, they're far more likely to join ISIS. So almost all of your ISIS recruits.
And that's a big jump there.
Yes. So obviously most boys who don't have fathers don't join ISIS. But of your ISIS recruits, almost all of them have in common that a lack of father involvement, not only the boys, but also the girls. Of your school shooters, the great majority of them have a lack of father involvement. Of your mass shooters, the great majority of them have a lack of father involvement. And so Father's Day is really a day to say, we need to have fathers become the new warrior, the new person to be involved, overcoming the barriers. If you're having trouble with connecting with your son, fight it out, work it out, communicate it out.
Right, last question before we go. You know, there are a lot of people watching, and there may be single mothers out there.
Yes.
And they say, my son is growing up, and a lot of these sons are pillars of the community.
Yes.
President Obama, you can look at him as an example. So it's not an all-encompassing problem, but it's something we should investigate, is what I'm gathering from you.
Yes, the boys that are having significant problems, there's about 9 or 10 causes, but this is by far fatherlessness, and minimal father involvement is the most significant cause. One of the things that President Obama's mother did differently than many times happens is she constantly told positive stories about President Obama's father. And that's so one of the things that you can do for your child is to tell positive stories about the father, so the boy ends up feeling, I am inherently a worthwhile person.
The book is called The Boy Crisis. Dr. Warren Farrell, good to see you again.
You know, folks, you don't even need to see the studies that Dr. Farrell talks about, which is happening with these fatherless boys. Just take a look at the Black community and what happened to the Black youth, especially the male Black youth from the 1950s, when the number of families, the Black families, had a 2-family household, was in the upper 80s to 90%, to currently where it's in the low 20%. Fathers have left the Black community, and you see what has happened with Black youth. Crime statistics up, gang involvement up, burglaries up, murders up, every basically tier level that you can put inside of situations that are occurring with Black youth in terms of the problem situations that are occurring. Prison time, gang involvement, drug usage, fathering multiple babies with multiple partners. All of these things are happening. How come you don't see that in the Asian Indian population? You don't see it in the Mideastern population. You don't see it in the Japanese or Chinese population. Why is that? The fathers stay, there's a family unit that's there, that stays involved. The father is involved in the child's life, both the son's life and the daughter's life. We know that. Listen, the chances of somebody having both mother and father in the household and that child coming out and becoming a pillar of the community is a much higher, greater percentage rate than those without fathers. You take every statistical study out there, it's going to show you, and you have the evidence right in front of you from the Black community. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow. You all know what to do. Take a look at our other video links above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.